It was a week ago that KOAT revealed how nearly a dozen children were allegedly being sexually abused by one of their classmates. That report striking a nerve with a family here in Albuquerque who says that story was very similar to theirs.
Tonight's Target 7 investigation looks into another possible case. Now, we want to warn you, the details might be disturbing. Here's Jason McNabb.
But I just feel like there was no excuse for what happened.
Meet Chloe. She's about to start high school, a time that should be exciting for most girls her age. But instead, she's scared. Your biggest fear going into high school right now?
My biggest fear is probably like seeing him again.
Erica and Alberto Lucero are Chloe's parents. They told Target 7 back in 2018 they noticed a sudden shift in her behavior. At the time, Chloe was a first grader at Chaparral Elementary School.
We took Chloe swimming, and Chloe relayed to us that she was injured. And at that point, we just kind of asked her what happened. And that's when she started talking more.
Chloe told them and her doctor that a boy had been bullying her and following her into the bathroom. She said it was a student the same age as her. Her parents say evidence of abuse was found at that doctor's visit. Medical records given to Target 7 show the doctor referred Chloe to a clinic to have a rape kit performed. Erica and Alberto were told if there was any evidence someone had hurt her, it would show up in the results. But they say their experience with APS fell apart after reporting it to the district.
But my daughter's been treated like she's the perpetrator in the situation, not the survivor.
Chloe told me the APS police investigator on her case didn't believe her. How did that experience go?
Like he kind of seemed like confused or like, oh yeah, it didn't happen, like she's lying and stuff like that. Like every time I would tell him something, he would kind of just push it off and just act like nothing happened.
Additionally, Chloe's parents believe the rape kit was lost, as they never saw the results.
Countless phone calls, countless doors getting slammed in your face, countless sleepless nights. No one should ever have to go through that. No one should ever have to go through what Chloe went through, ever.
And if the response that they receive is critical or harsh or non-believing, what we should expect is they will not continue to speak.
Dr. Leslie Strickler is an expert on child abuse at UNM. She says most child sexual abuse cases come to light because of what a child says, not because of a physical finding.
What's most common is that they don't disclose initially, meaning that in most cases of sexual abuse or assault in children and adults, people don't speak about what has happened to them immediately for a number of reasons.
She also says children making up sexual abuse cases is almost unheard of.
Fabrication of allegations of inappropriate sexual contact from children is actually very, very rare.
After years of fighting for answers, Erica and Alberto say they've since turned their focus on helping Chloe heal. But they called the Target 7 tip line after catching our report on a similar case to their daughters. 10 boys in 4th grade coming forward and alleging abuse done by a classmate at Chaparral Elementary, the same school. An investigation was conducted and a report followed. The report said the 10 boys were possibly, quote, unconsciously or consciously colluding with one another, but didn't substantiate the claims. Parents, like Victoria Stanley, who spoke to Target 7, were not happy.
And my first thought was, if you know a 4th grader, they can't plan ahead or collude on anything.
We reached out to APS about the investigation of Chloe's incident. They have not yet gotten back to us.
It's devastating when that happens to your child.
For Target 7,
And it's sad that these little boys have to go through it too, and they're not getting the justice that they need.
I'm Jason McNabb.
Target 7 is continuing to report on how allegations of abuse and misconduct are addressed in Albuquerque schools. If you have information you believe may be relevant, call our tip line at 505-884-6347 or email target7tips@koat.com.